Now, the Supreme Court has ordered a nationwide stay on the central government's new cattle slaughter notification. It says livelihoods cannot be subjected to uncertainties. Now, on 29th of May, the centre issued a notification which stated that no one can bring cattle to an animal market unless he or she has furnished a written declaration that the cattle will not be sold for the purpose of slaughter. Further, upon sale of cattle, the Animal Market Committee will take an undertaking that the animals are for agricultural purposes only and not for slaughter. That's the crucial stay that has come in from the Supreme Court as far as the central government's notification on cattle slaughter notification is concerned. Remember, the Madras High Court on the 30th of May as well had stayed the notification, and the Supreme Court has now upheld it. We also understand that the government says that new rules will be in by August end. Let's go across to Meenakshi, who's joining in on the phone line. Meenakshi, a big breather for cattle traders.
Well, absolutely. This is a huge reprieve coming in from the Supreme Court for cattle traders. And what is very significant is that their concerns have resonated with the Supreme Court, which went on to make this observation that it is a matter of livelihood and therefore it cannot be subject to a lot of inconsistencies or uncertainties. And on the other hand, while the government also made a submission as to how it has been moved by the public backlash and the outcry that has broken out in the aftermath of the new cattle trade policy, the government has also showcased some kind of a little sensitivity to take into account the public displeasure and has categorically told the Supreme Court that some of the policies perhaps needed a bit of tweaking, and therefore the government is open to relook it and have fresh set of rules re-notified by August 10, like you rightly pointed out. So huge reprieve coming in both legally and politically for the cattle traders.
Now, Meenakshi, we also understand that the PIL that was filed in Madras High Court, that has also been disposed of by the Supreme Court, with room given to the petitioners to come back once the government comes up with its new notification?
Well, that is correct, because obviously the new notification will be something which will have to be taken into account by the cattle traders, whether that takes into account their concerns about their livelihood. So at a later point in time, even if there are inconsistencies, even in the new policy, they will have the liberty or they will have the option of approaching, knocking on the doors of the Supreme Court again. But clearly, for now, the Supreme Court feels that the matter can be dealt with in an amicable fashion. Therefore, it has gone ahead and disposed of, or rather closed, this particular option of an argument or having the matter pending in the Supreme Court, because clearly the government saying that it is open to the idea of revisiting the new cattle policy.
Right. Well, actually, at this point, do we have any more details of the Supreme Court's observations? We understand that it would be uploaded later on in the day, but at this point, if you can quickly take us through what we know.
Well, indeed, one thing that has weighed predominantly on the court's mind, which we can confirm to our viewers, is as to how a huge amount of the population would be affected by this new policy, because it is a matter pertaining to their livelihood. So that has weighed heavily in the Supreme Court's mind, and the court clearly of the view that such livelihood, which really involves so many people, cannot be something which can be subject to a lot of inconsistencies or uncertainties. The order will borrow from that. Like we have been bringing to our viewers, the details will be available perhaps sometime in the evening when it is uploaded on the Supreme Court website. But we can confirm this. The predominant thought which has weighed on the Supreme Court's mind has been the aspect of livelihood and how several thousand people are concerned and are attached and are affected by the cattle policy, and the government stand being significant because the government has bowed down to the public pressure, to the public outcry, and has shown some amount of sensitivity to submit to the top court that it is looking to revisit the policy and have it tweaked around in order to accommodate the concerns of all.
All right. Thanks, Meenakshi, for getting us those details. I'm also being joined on the phone line by Fahim Qureshi, who is one of the petitioners who had filed a PIL in Madras High Court on the same issue. Thank you very much, Mr. Qureshi, for joining in. I want to first get your reaction to the Supreme Court stay.
Yeah, first, I just wanted to clear that I filed an application before the Supreme Court challenging these two notifications.
Right.
Yeah, we are very happy that the Supreme Court today disposed of our application, giving direction of extension of stay of these notifications, which has been stayed by the Madurai bench, Madras High Court. And also,
I think we've lost the connection with Mr. Qureshi. We will try and reconnect with him. But at this point, the Supreme Court has stayed. Mr. Qureshi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. So there is an admission by the central government, also a statement recorded by the Supreme Court, by the Chief Justice of India. And there is a statement saying that there are several other objections also, the representations also they have received from various sections of people, and they are reconsidering the new laws to be made, and they will definitely issue the re-notifications again at the end of this month.
Right.
So we expect some good decision by the government at the time of issuing these notifications.
Right.
And till now, we can say to all the related cattle traders, farmers, agriculturists, butchers, beef exporters, leather industry people, bone industry people, and everyone who are non-vegetarian also, they don't need to bother about the laws which has been stayed by the Supreme Court. Now they can come to the market because there was a panic everywhere throughout the country in the cattle markets. There was a slump in the market. There was unemployment at large. The small children and the poor families, they were facing hardship and starvation. Now, because of the panic, they were not coming into the cattle markets. Now They can come into the cattle markets without fear, and they can carry on their trade freely, thinking that it is their fundamental rights to carry on trade guaranteed under the Constitution of India.
Right. Mr. Qureshi, the Supreme Court has very categorically mentioned that livelihoods cannot be subjected to uncertainties. Now, with respect to the new rules that the government is likely to submit by end of August, what would you like to see in that?
Yes, there should not be any violation of fundamental rights guaranteed under the Constitution of India. There should not be a single citizen affected by these new notifications, and there should not be any violation of the Parent Act also, that is the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act, because there are already rules made there under for preventing unnecessary pain and infliction of injury to the cattle. But there should be a rule only to prevent the animals from any unnecessary pains. There should not be any violation of any fundamental rights guaranteed under the Constitution of India, provided to all the citizens of India.
Right. And also, as far as the PILs that were filed with Madras High Court, that has been disposed of by the Supreme Court, but with room given for petitioners to sort of return if once the new notifications are in place as well.
Yeah, but I will clear your point. The Madras writ petition, which is pending before the Madurai bench, that has not been disposed of here by the Supreme Court.
Okay.
My petition and the other petitions which are connected to my writ petition, those writ petitions has been disposed of. There is a mention by the Assistant Solicitor General of India saying that Madurai bench of Madras High Court has stayed these two notifications. On that issue, the Honorable Supreme Court extended the stay, and those petitions are still pending before the Madurai bench.
All right, Mr. Verma. Mr. Qureshi, do stay on. I'm also being joined by Yogesh Verma of the BJP. Thanks very much, Mr. Verma, for joining in. I wanted to first get your initial reaction to the Supreme Court stay order.
See, I had just come to know through different channels that there is a stay order on this cow killing or cow slaughter. So I think so. First of all, let us see what the notification or the stay. The order has been given by the Honorable Court. It should be studied, and after that we can say. But according to us, the cow slaughter or killing of cow should be banned in India, because India is a peace-loving country, and it doesn't allow any cruelty towards any animal, any person, or any human being or any lively thing which is there on earth. So I think so. Okay, we have to first of all study the order, and after that we can really give the reaction or any other things about the order.
Right. Mr. Verma, the Supreme Court has categorically said that livelihoods cannot be subjected to uncertainties, and that is the basis on which it has come up. It has stayed this government notification on cattle slaughter.
See, exactly. Again, I am telling you, let the written order become, because sometimes there is sometimes any confusion during the verbal order, and in the written, many things are into the clarity. So I think so. Let the written order become, and after that we can think it over again and do whatever the government will decide.
Right. But Mr. Verma, I mean, just reiterating the fact we also understand that the government will come up with new rules as far as this notification is concerned by end of August. Is there anything you can say on that?
So, okay, at this juncture of time, I could tell you or react about this issue. Very sensitive issue it is, but basically we are against cow slaughter or killing of cow or animal cruelty. It also comes under the cruelty against animals. So I think so. We will look into the matter and do what the people of India and what our sanskars are there during the course of PD or PD. So I think so. Okay, let us get this written order. After that, we can see.
All right, Mr. Verma, but the fact is that, you know, just to clarify, the Supreme Court has talked about livelihoods of people which cannot be subject to uncertainties, not talking about cruelty to animals or sanskar that you are talking about.
See, any livelihood, the person who is selling the drugs, the person who is into some other illegal trade, so we cannot join it through the livelihood. That drug seller livelihood is on drugs. So everything should be into the frame of our what we so-called society, our culture, our samajik tana-bana. It should be into the frame of that, into the law. So I think so. The Honorable Court and Honorable Judge is the supreme authority. So I couldn't react more on that. But according to me, everything should be in the frame of the society.
Right. All right. Thanks very much, Mr. Yogesh Verma, for joining in. That was Yogesh Verma of the BJP with his comments as far as the Supreme Court stay order on the central government's notification as far as cattle slaughter is concerned.